Welcome to another edition of Because Bikers Matter podcast. I'm your host, David Vegas Shuman. And today, I don't have one, I have two special guests. I am so lucky. I have Marilyn Stemp, known for many different things, Iron Trader News, a gazillion bike shows out in Sturgis, the Kiwi, what is that called? Kiwi something or other that you're involved
Oh,
in.
Kiwi Indian News.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's right, Indian. Um, and more. And we'll get to those mores. And then I have Dana Tilling. Hi, Dana. Nice to see you again as well. She's in the new garage or something like that, or studio or whatever it is now. I haven't been there yet. And truthfully, in this weather, I don't want to go there right now. Larry's telling me today, 7 degrees. The ice is all around his, wiper blades, and he's trying to thaw them out so he could use them. I'm like,
Oh,
and I'm going there tomorrow. Mm, crazy.
hmm.
Anyway, so starting with you, Marilyn, let's talk about the Flying Piston Benefit Breakfast. So, first tell us what's it all about?
Oh, David, it's one of my favorite things to talk about. So thanks for asking and thanks for letting me come on and talk with you and Dana about it. As you know, as someone who's been involved with it for a few years, we started this thing really with no idea what it could become or really what it has become. But I got dragged into it by my partner in this enterprise, Jeff Nager. It was his idea about 11 years ago, actually more like 12, that we should do something in the biker community to raise some money for veterans benefit and children's benefit. And it was that non-specific. We just didn't know what we would do, but he was really adamant about pulling something together. And I really didn't want anything else to do. I was pretty happy with just as busy as I was. But he eventually talked me into it, and we make a great team. It's just the two of us. We call some other volunteers like us into this thing, and we started having breakfast with custom builders in Sturgis. This will be our 11th year in Sturgis. The Buffalo Chip welcomed us to host the event, and we thought if we get a bunch of custom builders in one place, maybe regular riders would like to come meet them, pick their brains, talk to them, have a picture taken with them, and that we could make a happening out of that. And whatever money we earned by doing that, we could donate to veterans and kids. And the one pivotal thing that changed after the second or third year in Sturgis was when the Strider Company, they make little balance bikes, they came to us and offered not one, but six of their little tiny balance bikes for the auction that we have, the charity auction. And I thought, well, gosh, six of something is hard to auction off. What could I do with these? And I got a brainstorm to call Rick Fairless and Corey Ness and Paul Yaffe and some of these guys. And I said, if I send you this little 12-inch bike, could you make it look fancy for me? And that was the beginning of the Tiny Strider Customs. And we've done them every year since. And that kind of took off and just caught people's fancy. Some of them look like mini drag racers or mini nest diggers or tiny bags on the side or a military looking one. But, in as many years as we've done this now, we just haven't had duplicates. Everybody keeps coming up with new ideas. So that helped us develop the auction. And then we started it in Daytona 5 years ago. And I'm happy to say that Motorcycle Safety Lawyers is our presenting sponsor in Daytona. And you all make it happen there at Teddy Morse's Harley-Davidson in the pavilion. Great place to have an event.
Absolutely. Big, too.
Yes,
And there's room for everything in there, which is crazy.
it is. And you're right in the middle of the entire giant venue during the biggest event of the year. I mean, we couldn't ask for anything better.
I haven't seen a more interesting Harley-Davidson dealership anywhere than that place.
Unique.
Yeah, it's just so big and has so many different vendors and buildings and venues. And it's always busy, which is even better when you're trying to market your business,
Yes.
which all of us
Every
have some involvement in.
every aftermarket company who's anybody is there in that lot. All the big guys. So it's a place to be.
For sure. Well, you took away a couple of my questions, so which is okay. So I still have more. So let's talk about what happens to the funds that are raised by the Flying Piston Benefit Breakfast.
Yeah, so we always give something each year to Motorcycle Missions, which is a great little organization out of Austin, Texas, run by Crystal Hess. And she brings in, she's a trauma nurse herself as her profession, but she brings in vets who have suffered from PTSD, helps them get together and build some skills in fabrication or electrical or engine building, something related to building a motorcycle, and hopefully give them a career path to come into our industry and work with us. So we always support Crystal in some fashion. But the biggest bulk of what we do goes to All Kids Bike. And that is a program of the Strider Education Foundation that puts kindergarten bicycle riding classes right into PE in schools nationwide. There are classes all over the country in every single state by now. Easily 500,000 kids are already affected by this program, and it's growing all the time. It's going to grow, in fact, on Friday, isn't it, David?
Yes, it is. We'll get to that in just a minute. So I had Nicole Buckholtz was on the last podcast, and she's PR for All Kids Bike. And she said there's like already 1,600 schools that have the program. Is that amazing?
It is. It's amazing. And they don't just last 1 year. You know, if the schools take care of the bikes, some of the smaller schools do it for kindergarten and first grade students. And a lot of times they'll last easily 4 to 5 years, you know, if the little bikes are maintained. And they come with little helmets so the kids don't hurt themselves, and little pedal kits so that after they get good at balancing, they put the pedals on and teach them to ride. And a full curriculum for the teacher and a
And a
teacher's.
bike and a helmet too,
Yes, for the teacher.
right? So since you brought it up, and since they won't see this podcast until after Friday, I'm okay
Right.
with that. So we're going to the James Shield Elementary School on the south side of Chicago, and these kids are going to lose their minds. 60 kindergartners are going to watch the magical reveal um, of 2 racks, 24 bikes, helmets, as you mentioned, pedal kits. We're bringing with some friends of ours, um, and they happen to be police officers and detectives, some retired from the Chicago Police Department, and they actually cover District 1 where the school is located. So that's even more interesting. They
Mm,
have their own LEMC that, Motorcycle Safety Lawyers has sponsored and helped out with. They're a great group of guys. And I couldn't think of anything more amazing than having kindergartners get bicycles from police.
mhm,
Paint that image in their mind when they grew up in a rough area, and there's a lot of negative, you know.
mm.
And I got to tell you, I called up someone that we know best from that group, and it was Steve Soria. Hi, Steve. And I said, hey, we're doing this thing, and we could use your help. Would you guys like to get involved? It wasn't even 100th of a second before the yes came out.
Oh,
So a bunch of his club will be attending with us, and there'll probably be a whole bunch of police cars outside and all kinds of cool stuff inside. And of course, all the kids are going to get swag bags and they with lots of stickers. We pulled out the rack cards and stuff about things that they would know nothing about. I'm not so sure they're reading. So, but lots of fun stickers. Iron Trader News, of course, and Flying Piston Benefit Breakfast. I don't have any of your stickers, Dana, but we could fix that, I'm sure. Um, and of course, the motorcycle safe flare stickers. And we had, of course, they don't know this either. We had stickers made for the Angels of Silence, which is the English side of the club name. And they're going to be in there as well, and all kinds of stuff. So there's stickers. There'll be stickers on the helmets, on the bikes, special banners on both racks. And my understanding is they have a parachute, so they're actually going to cover both racks with the parachute. So we had the banners kind of that are attached to the racks, kind of hiding them somewhat, but now they're really hidden. So this will be an interesting reveal. Hopefully the press will show up, and they've certainly been invited. And they'll watch us build the bikes before the reveal in another room that's right next to the gymnasium. And we'll do this thing. So this is our first experience. And just all the stories I've heard about what it's like to present this to an underprivileged school has just been amazing. I can't wait. And
oh
neither can
yeah,
Barry. Jeannie.
50 or 60 screaming, yelping little
I hope
5-year-olds
so.
hugging you around the knees. Thank you
Yeah.
for the bicycles.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope that's exactly what we have out of that. And
Yeah.
it'll just be so much fun. And just to see their smiling faces when they get on this thing and start tooling around the gym, that's got to be amazing too.
Yeah. And
So,
the money was raised last year at the Flying Piston Breakfast that as motorcycle safety lawyers sponsored. That's where this program came from. So,
right,
there's a lot of credit to go around here for how it happens.
absolutely. And we love all that. And just because there's more to the Flying Piston Benefit Breakfast, tell us about some of the other folks that help sponsor to make this thing happen.
Oh, we're lucky to have Baker Drivetrain and Redline Oil. Gnarly Magazine runs an art contest with a bunch of painters who do custom one-off skateboards for us. They're part of the auction. And, Strider always participates. I should mention that, part of us choosing All Kids Bike, Jeff and I really want to make sure motorcycling lasts. We love our industry, and we've both had really wonderful built friendships and lives and networks in motorcycling. So we think that, if kids don't ride bicycles, the chance that they're going to ride motorcycles is slim. So getting them on two wheels when they're little certainly speaks to perpetuation of the motorcycle industry for us. But I want to also mention that, All Kids Bike, and I'm sure Nicole told you this, riding a bicycle gets kids away from screens, makes them healthy, active, autonomous, confident. There's so many great things about putting a kid on a bicycle that just changes their little lives, in ways they don't even realize. So I'm selfish in wanting them to go on and ride motorcycles. But if none of them do, and all they do is get healthy, happy, and out in nature, I mean, that's still a win.
Well, I have to admit, I did learn all of that from you originally. And on the banner, it says creating the next generation of motorcyclists.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Of course.
And I've already talked to Rusty Wallace. His crew will come in at Daytona again. They ride their big, loud, noisy, beautiful baggers from Southern Country Customs right into the middle of the breakfast and kick up the dust and make a big fuss. And of course,
And
they
break
don't
out their
mind that.
large wallets, and that's all good too. Check out all the beautiful classic cars around me. They're detailed to perfection, and I'll bet their insurance policies are just as good. We want to thank our sponsor, Motorcycle Safety Lawyers, a division of Shuman Legal personal injury lawyers. They have over 35 years experience handling all types of accidents. We want to be your personal injury lawyer.
Yeah.
That brings us to Dana. So welcome back, Dana. You've been on many times.
I've been
And
on a few
as well.
times. Yeah, thanks for having me, David. And thank you too as well, Marilyn, for including me with the Flying Pistons benefit. I'm always love to be there. It's been a fun couple years with you guys, and we're looking towards the future. Hopefully we'll have some more fun together.
We are.
Yes.
So I
Wouldn't
mean,
be the same without you.
yeah. No, it's led to some interesting events. It's been multiple reveals.
Yes.
The different neat things that you've made over time, and the people we've surprised with them.
Yes.
I'm going to my first prop.
His
Oh
prop.
boy, we have props. I have a feeling I know what this is.
Is it working? Hold on.
Yeah,
Sort of.
Oh,
you're sort of there. There you are. I can tell that's a Tommy gun that I made.
yes, it is. I'm sorry that the graphic is so bad.
It's okay.
It's the one challenge with the background that I wish I could. I don't have a quick turn off, show it, turn on, that kind of thing. But we'll show a picture of it when we release this so that it'll be there. And it's funny, we're going to Daytona, and obviously part of our going to Daytona is the fact that we sponsor Jim Lynch and Bike Show Mafia and
Mhm.
Fathers of Custom and Godfathers of Bass, all part of his shows. And he just loves that theme so much that I had to
He
do it.
does. Yes, he does. Yes,
Mhm.
I'm actually in the process of making some trophies for his bike show. I
Correct.
have 22 trophies on my table right now, waiting for stickers. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we were waiting for stickers too, so I understand that issue at the last minute.
Well, it's waiting for me. I do everything in-house, so it's waiting on myself to get all
Oh,
that done.
got it. Ours were just arriving today, so
I
different
understand.
different side of the issue,
Yeah.
but still fun. Yeah, I
Hmm.
just this that first time I saw the Tommy gun in the old garage, we did our first
Yes,
podcast,
yes,
and
we did our first podcast in my old shop. So yeah, it's definitely changed, definitely evolved here. So you'll have to come see me in Wisconsin, but when it warms up, of course.
yes, I'll wait for the summer for sure. Then it's a fun ride too, so it'll
Yes,
be twice as nice to do that.
definitely.
And I actually, this kind of started back, and Marilyn was part of this when we used to sponsor the Schools Out Chopper Show at the Buffalo Chip.
Hmm.
And you and Larry were talking and whatever. I don't remember how all the details of how it kind of came together, but first place prize was excuse me.
He happens to have one handy.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
I had to have one of these, and it's not light either, by the way.
It is not light. I have a feeling I know what you're getting there.
Yeah.
And David requested that I made him a skull that he could hang on his wall. And I put lights in it as well. I don't
Yes,
know
you
that
did.
that'll come through, but you'll
No,
have
no,
to.
because this is still on actually the hold on. Oh, I can't believe it's not showing. There, wait. I got to come closer. You know what? This is crazy. Larry's going to kill me for this, but I'm going to put the picture up when
There you go.
on the screen.
There
This
you go.
thing must weigh 50 pounds.
Oh,
It's
it's beautiful.
it's not light. Yeah.
Let's see. One more try. That's not working either. Oh, that's crazy. Okay. Well, I tried. And I didn't waste too much time. So for those of you that are listening and don't see the visuals, that was a 50-pound giant Punisher with exquisite detail, all by Dana, of course. And the first one was the Tommy gun that, I've always loved anyway. So nice things to decorate, my office.
Absolutely.
And so anyway, so the Punisher was kind of the beginning of all this for us, and
Yeah,
some
I think
smaller trophies.
yep, the first time we kind of all got together for the Schools Out Chopper Show, I did some trophies. I had met Larry at the Midwest Women's Rider Group, the Get Your Groove On, believe it or not. Yes, it was a women's event, but Larry was there. And that was where I first met Larry, and we kind of connected. And well, the rest is history. Now I've done trophies for you guys a few times and helped now with
I think we're
the
on 3 years
Flying
now.
Piston Benefit. Yep. And it's been fun.
It definitely has. And
Yeah.
and that's what I think that makes it even more fun. And of course,
Yeah.
we can't kind of break away from this part of the conversation without discussing the the certain bench that showed up the first time at the Flying Pistons Benefit breakfast in Sturgis. And there's a great picture of somebody laying on it. Oh, it was you, Marilyn. I couldn't remember who it was. Yeah, right.
I was claiming it. I was definitely claiming
Yeah, you did for real.
it. Actually, I tried to bid on it, and I through the morning I kept trying to bid on it, and then running an event you get distracted. So at some point I looked at the bidding and I thought, darn it, somebody scooped me. Some scoundrel in this room scooped me and bought it right out from under me, and I was really angry. Then about 10 minutes later, certain people took me over to the bench and announced that it was mine, that they were the scoundrels who scooped it out from under me.
Mhm.
And it quickly became or found a home on the porch of my tiny house, which is back behind stage at the Buffalo Chip.
And it looks fantastic. I did get to see it there. It looks great there. It's
It's,
found its forever home for sure.
I think so, yes. So it's a lovely collaboration. It reminds me of so many friends and just, the kind of delight and surprise that you don't forget about in your life, that the network and that just karma provides sometimes. So it was
Sure.
like that's kind of sweet, kind thing that nice people do.
That's definitely a fun piece, and it's where our benches began. That was the first bench that I built, and we kind of had to figure out how we could make all of that work, and we did. So it was fun, and we've got another one now this year. So we'll see who gets that one. It's always fun to see who bids on things.
I think we have some pictures, Dana, of you claiming the one for this year, but it's nicely staged in front of Teddy Morse Harley-Davidson's main entrance.
Yes, I was able to get down there in December and bring the auction items down, and I placed it right in front of there for a reason, so it kind of framed, looked pretty good. And yeah, it was a pretty good spot. We had a little traffic we had to dive around doing some pictures and video, but for the most part, it worked. So yeah.
That's
And
great.
there's
Shameless
another
plug.
item. It's actually two items, but they go as a set that will also be in the auction. Tell us about that because I see something related to it anyway.
Oh yeah, here behind me. Yes, I also did a guitar, which we will be auctioning off. But this guitar's a little different. No two are ever the same. I will just say that. I do the same shape like I've done many Telecasters and Stratocasters and Les Pauls, but this one I've never done a custom stand. So the stand that holds it, it's definitely one of a kind for me. It has a couple big camshafts and some cool parts, brake rotors. It's pretty neat, and it slides right on that stand and kind of all becomes one, and really looks pretty cool. I need to make one like that for myself. That's the one
Oh,
thing I don't have any of my own artwork because it's constantly going out the door.
that's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
The cash
And the one
register is ringing.
Yes, there's a couple behind me. That's what you see. They're similar to those. This one actually is going to Goodfellas Bar. It has a bottle opener on the bottom of it. And that one is going to be, I believe, for the Battle of the Bands that he's got coming up. So, yeah,
Nice.
that'll be fun.
Didn't
Very
you have
nice.
someone pretty famous take one home from Flying Piston last year?
Yeah, so last year, Mr. Scott Jacobs of Jacobs Gallery, he's got a beautiful gallery in Deadwood. He purchased one of my fully functioning guitars when I was out there. I actually ran into him and kind of just started showing him some pictures, and he was like, I'll take it. And I said, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll take it." He didn't even see it in person. He bought it from the picture on my phone. So then I was scrambling to find where everything was and get it all to him. And since then, we've formed a bit of a relationship, and I have some art out in his gallery in Deadwood. So honored to have that there.
Right,
He's,
artist to
he's an
artist.
amazing artist. Yeah.
Well, for those who haven't been to the restaurant in Deadwood, South Dakota, when you walk in from the patio, there's an entire wall of real guitars signed by
Mm-hmm.
real musicians. A lot
Yep.
of famous bands and stuff that Scott met or knew or however that all worked out. Each one has its
Mm-hmm.
own story for sure.
Yeah.
And so nice addition to his wall.
Yes, he has quite a collection. It's
Yes,
very
he does.
cool.
And
Yeah.
I've seen the gallery once. I haven't, got to see all the different things he does, but here's a man who cooks and he creates and of course you could say cooking's an art anyway. So, he applies it his talents in different ways.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
So I asked you this a couple years ago, but it's time for an update. So what do you like to make the most these days?
Um, for some reason, the three things that I make the most are girls, guitars, and guns. So I don't know why, but that seems to be my niche. And I'm working on one of each of those right now, as a matter of fact. Actually, a few. I just made a few Tommy guns. In fact, I've got one back here on my table. There's another one that's still on my welding table. I'm working on a girl. She's not quite done. She's actually sitting in front of me here. I'm working on this girl. She's work in progress. And a couple guitars still as well. So that seems to be my niche. I do love to make tables also. And I'm this year driving out to Florida, so I will actually be able to have some of my tables and some of those bigger things with me this year. So that'll be kind of fun. I feel like people don't get to see everything I do. So that'll be kind of nice to have a bit rounder of, repertoire of what I do with me for a change instead of just 3 or 4 pieces.
Sure.
So that'll be nice.
And I remember the tables because that was one of your early things that you started doing. You had one, that one you did have in your house, your old house anyway.
Yes, yes. Well, they make it to my house and they kind of stay in holding just to keep the dust off of them. And then when I go to a show, I go around and collect everything, and it usually then gets sold wherever the next, place I'm going is.
Yeah, somehow I still
So,
remember it sitting next to your monkeys at the time.
yes, yes, you're right. Yes, we had our motorcycles in the basement at our house. It was a walkout basement, and my Honda Monkey was down there, and it was next to that. That's what he's referring to.
So
So,
what do you think is your favorite piece of all the things that you've done?
all the things I've done. There's a girl that I built, and she's actually in Jacob's gallery right now. She is built on a jug from an engine, and she's probably my favorite out in Deadwood. So if you make it out to Jacob's gallery at all, anytime in this near future, check her out. She's there, and she also has a really cool pedestal that I built specifically for that piece. The pedestal has pistons for feet and a big camshaft, and then it's just a something very different, neat piece. So
Nice.
that's probably to date one of my favorites. Yeah.
So Marilyn, tell us, because you'll know it better than Dana and I. If someone wants to see the items on the auction, where do they go?
Oh, yes. Immediately, I mean, the easiest way is to go to flyingpistonbenefit.com, because then you can click through from there to the auction site and also to the buy ticket site at Teddy Morse's. You can get a ticket just by going direct to shop.Daytona Harley-Davidson. But if you just go to the flyingpistonbenefit.com, it'll give you links to all of those things. And the really cool thing about us doing the auction online is that even if you can't get to Daytona or Sturgis when we have the breakfasts, you can bid on Dana's bench and Dana's guitar and all of the amazing artwork that we have and the other auction items. And we send it to you if you're the winner. So we like people to jump in online and bid that way if they can't get there and be with us in the morning.
And again, all these monies that are raised go to help support the programs at, what was the name of the first place?
All Kids Bike and Motorcycle Missions, and it's every penny because we're all volunteers.
Very nice. Very nice. So, Dana, any other shows coming up that you're going to attend this year?
Well, of course, I will be with you guys at Flying Pistons, and then I will be at Goodfellas Beer and Wine. I think it's on the 7th for James' show. Those trophies that I made, and then I'll be at the Donnie Smith Bike Show shortly after that, just the end of March, which is in St. Paul. So that'll be fun. That's not too bad of a drive for me. It's only about 4 hours from me here in Wisconsin.
And you'll be used to the weather.
And yeah, the weather is normal for me. So no, I'm okay
I'm
with
glad
snow.
you're going to be at the Donnie Smith show. I'll look forward to seeing
I'm really
you there.
excited about it. I'm really excited. That'll be fun. Yeah.
So, thank you, Dana. Marilyn, I understand that you have something new coming up. What could that be?
Yeah. I kind of like doing bike shows, and I've never done bike shows really in Daytona. Just seemed like, my efforts were always concentrated in Sturgis, but I've got a friend in Daytona who always supported the Sturgis shows, specifically the Schools Out Chopper show. He would make us the shovelhead tank trophies. His name is Ron Harris. He's with Chop Docs Choppers, originally from Detroit, Michigan, but he's been a Florida snowbird for many years and finally just gave up and moved there about 10 years ago. But Ronnie's been wanting to do a bike show during Daytona, so he finally talked me into doing one called the All Out Evo Show. And this is just because I have this weird thing about the Evo platform from Harley-Davidson. I just honestly feel like it's the engine that saved the motor company. They were built during the 14-year period when the motor company was pumping out 450,000 motorcycles every single year, give or take. There's just a gazillion of them around. It's all carbureted, it's right before they phased in the twin cam and EFI with everything. So they're super easy to build. Anybody who's a little mechanically minded, even me, can understand how push rods work and how things spin and turn and these engines work. So you can even buy them super cheap now. So I also see them as kind of an entry-level custom power plant. So for all these reasons, I'm just bonkers for the Evo engine and I want to celebrate them. So that's what we're doing.
And what day is that show?
It is on Saturday, March 1st, and we're having it at a really super cool place. Back in the day in the 30s and 40s and 50s, the racers would race on the beach, and they would go south on the beach, cross over to pavement, and then do a mile north on pavement. And that was the course. That was the course. So right there where you turn and go from beach to pavement, there's a restaurant called The Turn. And it's that iconic. Yeah. So it's just a really great spot, and it has really nice historical connections to early Daytona. So they welcomed us to have our show there. And of course, we always do free ride-in shows, so that makes it super fun. And one of the things we're super happy about this time is David has stepped up from Motorcycle Safety Lawyers to post a $1,000 cash prize to the best in show. So all you have to do is roll your bike in, have a nice afternoon from 2 to 6 p.m. at the iconic Turn restaurant. You could go home with $1,000 in your pocket.
Woo, that's exciting.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think so too.
That should motivate some people to come out to the first ever.
I would think so.
Definitely. I got to put that on my calendar.
There you go.
Yes, please do. And then, on top of that, we've got tons of prizes from Trask and Fatbaggers and Saddlemen, Spectro, Drag Specialties, Memphis Shades, Cometic. I mean, I could go on. Did I say Baker, Mint Speed Shop, BDL? We've just got such wonderful industry support here that there's no reason not to turn up.
That's because you're wonderful, so people are happy to work with you.
Well, we want to make it fun. That's what this is about.
That too. That too. So, anything else you would like to tell us about the show or things coming up for you, Marilyn?
Oh gosh, Daytona's going to be busy. I always think I'm going to finally get a break and have a little time to hang out. But a really cool thing that I'm going to do on the early Friday is go to the new Smyrna racetrack where Sons of Speed happens.
Mm-hmm.
And they're having an event called Track Day there for 50 young women who are registered in Volusia County trade schools. I mean, Dana, I know you'll appreciate this. You're a woman who works in the trades. These young women are already registered and taking trade school classes.
Mm-hmm.
But Darcy Betlack, a dear friend of mine, has Northern Tool sponsoring this event to promote young women in the trades. And so 50 of these young women are going to come and talk to Shelley Rossmeyer, Jody Perowitz, Destiny, a drag racer named Destiny, and me. And us OGs are going to give the young ones some ideas about how to get involved in motorcycling and how to hang out and enjoy your life and your career with some of the best people you ever meet.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really going to be fun. So this is all to Darcy's credit by bringing in Northern Tool and their Tools for the Trade program.
Very nice.
Yep.
Well,
so if you keep asking me, I'll keep saying things. So just
okay, go ahead. I dare you.
We just can't have too much fun, There's a Biker Bells ride on Tuesday, which will be great. And lots of great bike shows. You could talk about the ones down at Jim's place. Lots about those.
Well, there's Jim's place, but also at Teddy Morse, we're going to have right after the Flying Piston Benefit breakfast, we've got Jim's. Then we're going to have, the Godfather of Bass sound competition, which will follow after that. So it's going to be a long night.
Long day.
Yeah. Early start to, with the Flying Piston Benefit breakfast. And we'll all be there until we all pass out.
That's what we do. We don't waste time. There are lots of things to get to.
And I even have my sweat jacket packed because I remember last year in the evenings. It got a little cool, and
Mhm.
it was real cool. And Bear and I were there, and it was like, I'm freezing. And he went and bought me my very own Daytona Bike Week sweat jacket,
There
hoodie.
you go.
That's the kind of guy he is.
And most of the winter here, I've been wearing it because it's comfortable and it looks good too. So
Yeah.
thank you, Bear. Well, I thank you both for being here again. I'm going to see you real soon.
Yeah.
And I look forward to that. And we'll have a bunch of time together. And hopefully we'll raise a lot of money and it'll all be great. So,
Well, it's like bigger than the sum of the parts. We all come together to make these things happen and make a lot of fun and do some fundraising. So to me, it's a win-win.
definitely.
I appreciate you all working with us.
Pleasure.
Looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much.
Have a good time on Friday with all your 5-year-olds.
All the kiddies. Yeah, that's gonna be. I can't wait for that one. That'll be fun. So, thank you all. So, David Vegas Shuman, signing out. Check out this 1948 Harley Hummer. It's a beaut. We want to thank you for listening to our podcast today. If you liked it, please share it with your friends and family. If you happen to be coming out to the Las Vegas area, send me a text. I'd love to join you for a ride. David Vegas Shuman, signing out.